Hi everyone, Jasmine here, and today is our April Q&A for blogging. Welcome everyone. For those of you, this is your first time, my name is Jasmine. I've been blogging for 12 years and I love it. I have two blogs right now, one called Miss Millennium Magazine, another called Blogging Money Life, and I like working on them when I'm not at my day job. Actually, fun story, blogging actually got me into my day job. I am a marketing strategist by day, blogger by night, and I use a lot of the same strategies for my day job. So, needless to say, I live and breathe blogging, and I love having these monthly Q&As with you all so that I have an excuse to talk about blogging with other people who are passionate about it. So, thanks for coming. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So I'll tell you what I typically do for these. The purpose is to answer your questions that you post live when it comes to blogging. And I usually come with a story of my own to teach about something that I've learned either recently or just in my blogging journey so I can share it with everyone here. I just feel like it adds more value. And also for those who are here and they don't know what type of questions to ask, it's a good way to spark some good ones. Um, I have a Facebook group called Bloggers Supporting Bloggers with 40,000 members. And I usually start by going over the different questions that we get in that group as well. If you're not in the Facebook group, I highly recommend you join. We do different threads every day. Hey, baby, sorry about that. But if you're not in the Facebook group, there's a link for it here. There you go. So that you can join as well. So I'll go ahead and show it. So the group is called Bloggers Supporting Bloggers. And one of the threads that I do every week is a Q&A. And I like to use these monthly Q&As to answer those questions. I know I have a couple that have some questions. I'm going to go over those as well and answer. But I like to start with answering the questions that we already have here. So I see Eliza Nathaniel is here. Hi, Eliza. I'm glad you're here. And she has a few questions. So I'll start with those and then we'll get into the blogger supporting bloggers questions. And then I'll go over my topic for the day. So start with Eliza. First question. Can you go over updating old posts again? Pretty please. If we publish a post and forget to include something, can we include it a few days later? Yes, I can go over that again. And also, if you forget to include something, I think it's definitely possible to add something a few days later. The only thing you should be mindful of when it comes to updating old posts is the thing that you want to change later. It should be small. It shouldn't be, oh, let me add 3 new paragraphs or new titles to this topic. And now I have to change the title and now I have to submit it to Google Search Console again. So small changes, I think it's fine. Honestly, there's so many articles where I publish it and then I immediately change, a picture or add a new affiliate link or something like that. That it's so common for me. So I don't think that's that big of a deal if you want to make small changes to it a few days later. As far as updating old blog posts, the process goes like this. You want to make sure that you go into an article that is the best as far as is ready to be updated. There's a few criteria that you want to take into consideration before updating a little piece of content. And I know one of your questions you have here is, do you wait a certain amount of time after publishing a blog post to update it again? And the answer is yes. So you don't want to update a piece of content that is less than 1 year old. And the reason for that is you want to make sure that it goes a full span to see how it performs on its own. And it also gives you some time too to see are there spikes during certain periods of time, what worked before, what needs to change for it. Have you done keyword research for that particular article? So yeah, you want to wait at least a year because I think updating it prior to that, you're not going to get a lot of juice from changing it. And you also don't know, it hasn't reached its full potential. I've had some articles. Actually, I had an article recently where it was published for 4 months and this article did nothing. I did the keyword research for it. I did the images. I published it just like I did with any article. And just a couple of days ago, this article took off. It is now the top article on my entire website. And it did nothing for several months. So if you were to go in and update an article that just hasn't reached its trajectory yet, then you probably could potentially miss out on all that traffic that you can get from it. So that's all that's to say is wait at least a year before updating an old piece of content. Now you want to go through the process of what that looks like for updating old content. So I'll do that. Okay, so I know Eliza just added another question that's relevant to what I just said. I know you just said wait a year to update a post, but I guess it's okay to update little things like affiliate links, obviously, and maybe adding in a few sentences is okay. Yeah, absolutely. When I say, so I'll tell you my process. When I'm updating a piece of content, I'm making a major update. So I'm going to republish that content. So let's say this article was published May 2016. When I republish this content, it may have a new title. It may have a new URL. It's going to have a new date because I'm going to publish it for something that's more recent. I'm going to do extended keyword research. It may have whole new paragraphs or some paragraphs completely removed. It's essentially a brand new piece of content. So when I say update an old piece of content, that's what I'm referring to. Now, I think it's always okay if you want to go back in and add affiliate links, add pictures and things like that to make your article a little bit better. But if you're doing like you're changing the content, then that's what I talk about when it comes to updating old content and republishing it as a new piece of content on your site. So good questions. Really good questions you're asking in regard to what the process looks like for this. So I want to show you what, I know you said you want to go over the process of updating old content. I want to show you what my process is for choosing what old content to update. I know I mentioned that you want to make sure that it's at least a year old, but there is some strategic thought when it comes to which articles need to be updated. I'm going to go to one of my favorite tools, RankIQ, and I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see what that looks like. So, okay. All right, so this is RankIQ. What I typically use this for is for keyword research, but they have this awesome tool and it's called Rankings Audit. And you just link it to your Google Search Console account. And what it does is it just puts this in a nice, easy to understand way. And this is what I go to directly so that I know which content to update. So it starts with the keywords that are driving the most traffic to my website, my organic traffic summary. But where we want to go to is the traffic that has lost. So this is a section called Pages Experiencing Traffic Growth. That's awesome. You don't want to touch these articles when it comes to updating old content. Even if it's like over a year old, you don't want to risk updating content that's already performing for you and possibly losing that traffic. So you don't want to touch those things. I'm going to skip right by this. But what I do want to look at are pages experiencing traffic contraction. So these are pages where they were getting more traffic before and now they're losing traffic. So for this one, this is the last 30 days. This is only losing like 15, 13, nothing really big happening as far as this content. But the ones that I want to look at are the ones that are seeing a lot of traffic decline over months. So these are articles that over the last 6 months, compared to the previous 6 months has lost a lot of traffic. This article is a blog income report for January 2022. That makes perfect sense because it's a timely article. But I have another article here, Facebook groups for bloggers, that has lost 42 page views per month over the last 6 months. So this could be an article that I want to republish. So I'm just going to click on that and take a look at it. I'm going to switch my screen so we can see this. So this is the article. I actually recently republished this article. So if this were an older piece of content, which it was, I would work on updating it. I just updated it this month because I saw this as an opportunity for me to update an old piece of content. So once you update it, this is what I did. I did update it. and it has paragraphs. I added some updated pictures. Some of these things expired, added the right Facebook groups. You want to make sure that you submit it to Google Search Console so that they know that this content has been updated, and they can start crawling it with the new content that's there. So I'm going to go back to this tab. Honestly, I've been doing a lot of work on updating old content on both of my blogs, and I can tell you that all of these articles I'm currently working on updating right now. So except for this one, because it's just a timely article. So this is what I usually go to when it comes to updating old content. And this one is year-over-year articles that aren't performing. And this is also in my last 6 months isn't performing. So yeah, this is where I go to find content that needs updated. Now, Blogging Money Live, this blog is fairly new for me. I've only had it for 3 years. So I don't have a whole lot of traffic here, or a whole lot of content to work with when it comes to updating old content. But when I look at my other blog, my 12-year-old blog, now there's a lot. There's a lot that I can choose from. So I just switched it, and I'm going to go down to my pages that are experiencing contraction. And you see the list is a lot longer here. Actually, I can go to a second page to see all the content that's losing traffic. And this is over the last 28 days. I have over 2,000 articles on this blog, so there's a lot to work with. But this is the one we're going to look at, the one for the last 6 months, which I have an article that's lost 5,000 pieces of traffic over the last 6 months. So the only thing I will say here is, if this is content that is in your top 10, you want to make sure that you don't make those adjustments. Even though you're seeing a big traffic loss, if it's in your top 10, don't do it. I know for a fact that this one is in my top 10, so I'm just going to leave it alone. But there are other pieces of content here that I could possibly go and try to update. And I have a lot. I have 6 pages I can work with. And the same thing, this one's year over year, looking at content that I've had and how it's performing. So a lot I can work with here. I do the same thing. So for example, I go to the sexy anniversary gift article. And when I go here, I see this was written in 2020. So it definitely meets that time frame where it's been over a year. I can update this piece of content. And what I would do next is start doing some keyword research. Look to see, hey, are people actually looking for this topic? Is it worth me going down that road to work on this content? Or is it just something that people aren't interested in at all? And after I do that, then I make the decision to update it. So that is my current process for deciding. I'm going to stop sharing and see if there are any other questions. Eliza says, have you seen much success with Rank IQ? I just started using it. Yes. And the thing about SEO is that it's never something that happens instantly, especially if you have a smaller blog. So I would say stick with it. I'll share something that I've been so excited about. I've only been using Rank IQ for maybe 6 to 8 months, I would say. And for some articles, I would see a little baby spike a few weeks or a month after I would use keyword research for Rank IQ. And just recently, I mean, in the last 2 months or so, I've really started to see my traffic pick up substantially from using Rank IQ. I'm sharing my screen really quick just to show you what I'm seeing. This is for Blogging Money Life. So you can see here, we've had some pretty big spikes recently. And even if you look at the previous month, like we had some big spikes last month as well. And a lot of that is just working with a couple of things. One, doing keyword research using Rank IQ for all of our content. And then the second part is working with Google Web Stories. And then just creating Google Web Stories for the content that I've already created using Rank IQ to just give that content a boost. And I mean, it's been phenomenal. I know that one of our goals for Blogging Money Life is to get on Mediavine, and we are still some ways from getting there. You have to have 50,000 sessions in order to get on Mediavine. But I mean, where we are now, this is double where we were just a couple of months ago. So yeah, it's our traffic has definitely picked up. If you're wondering, like, okay, when is Rank IQ finally going to pay off? I'm here to tell you that you'll get there. You just continue to use it and work with it. So I can't speak highly enough about Rank IQ. I love it. So yeah. Getting into Mediavine sounds virtually impossible. Yes, it's funny because my other blog is on Mediavine, and I got in when it was the 25,000 sessions. But seeing how quickly my growth is happening with Blogging Money Life right now, I feel pretty confident that we can get there for sure if I'm still growing at the same rate that it is right now. So it's possible. Rank IQ is there. Oh, and I'm in the Mediavine Facebook group. And I learned that a lot of the Mediavine bloggers that are there, mostly all of them use Rank IQ. I mean, religiously, and they get a lot of organic traffic. So there's just a little key in. I think Rank IQ is kind of like an underdog or not really talked about by a lot of bloggers. But yeah, a lot of the bloggers who are already on Mediavine are using it. Oh, Eliza says, do you like it more than SEMrush? It's so funny you asked this because I actually did a video on Rank IQ versus SEMrush because I love them both, to be quite honest. I'll share my video just so you can see what I talked about for both of them. And my honest answer is they both have their own purposes. And I pay for both of them because they both help me with my blog stuff. So Rank IQ is great, I think, for keyword research, keeping track of what you need to do with growing your different keywords and rank on Google. So I like it for that. And then what I also like about Rank IQ is it's super easy. Like you don't have to take a class to understand how to use the tool. Like there's a 30-minute video where you can, they tell you everything about the platform and how to use it. And here's my video, Rank IQ versus SEMrush. And that's it. You don't have to take any courses or anything. It's easy to use. And it's so helpful. I use every single tool in Rank IQ regularly. It is just a part of my process when it comes to writing content, doing keyword research, whatever. For SEMrush, I like it for so many other things. I don't do keyword research on SEMrush, but what I do on SEMrush is I use it to take the keywords that I have from Rank IQ and then add in any other supplemental keywords that may be missing that Rank IQ didn't carry. So I do that because I use the SEMrush SEO plugin, which is amazing. I love Rank IQ. I love SEMrush for doing a site audit on my site. So if there are any errors, like I'll notice if I'm getting more 404 errors or anything like that, I can fix those things so that I can continue to grow my site. And then if one of your goals is to grow your domain authority, SEMrush is great for that because they'll tell you who's linking into your site, what spam sites are linking into your site so you can disavow them. What else does SEMrush do? They can give you some insight into articles that you already have that could do better. And they'll tell you here, if you do these things to these individual articles, then you can get this much more traffic after you make those changes. So yeah, it has its own purpose. To me, they're just completely different tools. Yes, they're technically both for SEO, but they're for different types of SEO. So that's my 2 cents on it. They're just different. And I think they're both very helpful. All right, I'm going to get back to the top here. Oh, no problem. Let's see here. So I answered your question about that. All right, you have a question about Google searching. Can you go over Google indexing again, pretty please? What is it? How do we do it? Yes, I can go over that. So the tool I use is called Google Search Console. And I'm going to pull it up and share my screen. And I have to be honest, when I first heard about Google Search Console, I was confused. I didn't understand what this is, why I need to sign up for it. I'm already on Google Analytics. Why do I need Google Search Console? What Google Search Console does is like your ticket into Google. So Google says, listen, if you want to rank higher on Google, we're going to tell you all the little things that you can do to do that. So this is my Google Search Console. I have a few websites here. But when I'm on here, this is only giving me details on my organic search traffic. So unlike Google Analytics, where you can see people who are coming in from social, people who are coming in from like directly, this is only showing me search traffic. So when I actually go into search results, what Google Search Console does is they'll tell me how many clicks I'm getting, how many impressions people who are viewing my site, and how many people are actually clicking through. But then they'll also show me the keywords that are coming up for people who come to my site. So this is something that you can't get in Google Analytics unless someone is logged into their Google account. So it's just better to go here to get this information. You can see what your top pages are when it comes to your organic traffic that you're getting. And then with the introduction of Google Discover is pretty much where if you're on your mobile device and you're searching on Google, they have these little stories that pop up. And if you use Google Web Stories, then that's where this content is coming up. And these are pretty much all Google Web Stories where I'm getting a lot of traffic from Google Discover. So that's essentially what Google Search Console is and what it's for. What I typically use it for, outside of linking it to Rank IQ so I can figure out what content needs to be updated, I also use it to make sure that they know that I'm updating my content and that they need to crawl my site because I just updated a page. So, for example, let's say I just updated this piece of content. Here, I should have tabbed. So this is the article I looked at and I recently updated it. I'm pretty sure I submitted it to Google Search Console already, but let's just double check to be sure. I'm gonna go back here. So when I'm in Google Search Console, I'm just going to add the link to my article here. And what Google will do is tell me if it's on Google. So yes, this is being crawled. They saw that my page was changed, or actually I can look at when it was indexed. So last crawl was April 18th, and I updated this on the 17th. So yeah, this was crawled recently. So I don't have to worry about updating this piece of content. But something that I do pretty regularly when I have time is I'll go into the indexing section, and there are 647 pages not indexed now. What I like to do is go through the pages that are crawled, not indexed, and I'll just check on this. So for example, I just ignore the ones that say feed. I have a new web story that I created recently that I never submitted to Google. So I'm going to click on inspect URL. It says not on Google. I'm going to request indexing. And what this does is tells Google like, hey, this is a new page on my website. Can you please crawl it so that I get credit for it? And that, it still comes up when people are searching on Google. I do this when I'm watching TV. It's super easy to do. And if you go into the indexing section on the left and click on pages, I guarantee you there are going to be pages that need to be indexed on Google. So it's just one of those things. If you have time and your hands are free while you're doing other things, this is a good practice. Another practice is when you publish new content, is making sure that you submit it immediately to Google Search Console so that it's not getting forgotten about. One thing that annoys me about this, though, is that they're looking at every page on your site. Like, I don't know if you saw, when I go back here, this is Web Stories page 4. This is like my category page for Google Web Stories. And since I have so many web stories, I didn't submit page 4 of this to Google Search Console. So they're saying they want me to submit this page. I really don't see the benefit of adding this to Google Search Console. I mean, it could benefit me, maybe, but if I have articles that haven't been submitted or the individual web stories themselves, that's something I would probably submit to Google Search Console before I submit a category page, essentially, to Google Search Console. Oh, sorry, I didn't share my tab. So this is it. This is a page that they're telling me I need to submit to Google Search Console. And it's just a category page. Anyway, That's it. That's Google Search Console. I think it's very helpful. And yeah, hopefully it was helpful for you. Another question. Do you have any good Pinterest course recommendations? Do you know any? I have, but Pinterest has changed so much in the last couple of years. I don't know of any Pinterest courses that have come out in the last couple of years since all the changes have been made to Pinterest. Even with my Pinterest account, I think it's beneficial to stay on Pinterest because I think eventually it's going to be worthwhile for bloggers again as they're figuring their thing out. But I get a ton of traffic from Pinterest for my first blog, Miss Millennia, but it's for pins that I created before all the Pinterest changes. All my new pins that I created since then haven't really done much of anything. So my strategy right now for Pinterest is when you publish new content, make sure you're pinning your new content to your best of board or whatever your site is. So for me, it's best of Blogging Money Life and whatever other category boards you have, and call it a day. I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time there while some strategies are still being created. So yeah, I have a couple of courses I've taken that helped me grow my Pinterest account, and it worked to the point where Pinterest at one point was my #1 traffic source, but I don't think those strategies are as relevant anymore. So good question. Can you go over what your blogging course covers? Can you resend me the link? Yes, yes, and yes. Oh wait, I want to make sure I get to your comments. I feel like we're just having a conversation, Eliza, you and I. Let's see here. She said, yeah, saying I haven't seen any Pinterest courses with all the changes. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And then like I'm in some courses where they say they updated it, but they only updated it to like, a change like 3-4 changes ago. I think the problem is Pinterest is making too many changes. And like no one can really keep up with it, at least right now. So let's see. Oh, hi! I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful you're here, Eliza. You're asking some great questions. And then you had another question. So after we publish each article, we put it on Google Search Console, and that's called Google Indexing. Yeah. Yes. Well, Google Indexing. So is that called? There's indexing on Google. Yes. And to index your site, you use something called a sitemap. And Google actually follows the sitemap. Pretty much what a sitemap is you have this, think of it as a map, like here's my homepage, and under my homepage are my category pages. And under my category pages are the blog posts that are related to those categories. And that's essentially what you hand over to Google, your sitemap, to say like, this is how my website is laid out. That way you don't miss out on any content that I create. So Google is automatically using that map and it's crawling your site on a regular basis. So when you first sign up for Google Search Console, they're going to ask for a sitemap. If you use a plugin called Yoast SEO, which I think most bloggers do, then you should be able to download your sitemap from your website from there and upload it to Google Search Console. So yes, that would help with indexing your site. And I highly recommend submitting each article you publish to Google Search Console. If you're publishing content regularly, Google should be crawling your site on a regular basis. That article I just showed you on my site, I never submitted it to Google Search Console, but they went and they crawled my site the next day. So they automatically picked it up, but they don't always do that. There's always content that's being left behind. So yeah, let's see here. All right, I'm getting back to the top. Pinterest. All right. Can you go over what your blogging course covers? Can you resend me the link? Yes, I can go over that. I thought I had it somewhere here. All right, so my course is called Blogging Money Formula. And what do I cover in it? I pretty much talk about how you need to set up your website so that you're ready to start making money with it. Now, my journey when it came to making money with a blog started with sponsored posts. So I like to talk about how you make money with sponsored posts, because I wasn't getting a whole lot of traffic. I hadn't been blogging for a long period of time when I got my first sponsored post deal. And honestly, prior to me doing my first sponsored post deal, which was only for like $50, it was a ton of money for me at the time because I was making like 3 cents, 3 cents a month or something like that with advertising. So I always love talking about sponsored posts as a nice opportunity for you to make money with your blog early, even if you don't have a lot of traffic, even if you haven't been blogging for a long period of time. But you do have to have some basics down first. So I talked through some of those basics on what you need to do to your blog to get it going, and then to start making money, like what pages you need to have, what are some of the fundamental processes you need to have in place for your blog. And then once you get that going, I talk through how to find sponsored posts, opportunities, and then how to start applying for different opportunities, whether that be applying on different sponsored post networks or pitching brands directly. And then I talk through how to write quality sponsored post content, and then making sure that you're getting traffic to it so that your brands want to work with you again. And the last thing I talk about in the course is how to keep up with all of it. So I got to a point with my blog, not so much recently since having a baby, but I did get to a point with my blog where I had so many sponsored deals that I had to start turning some of them down because I just didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough time to do them all. I feel like some of the initiatives could possibly compete with one another. And it was just a nice place to be in, where now I can make decisions on who I want to work with, as opposed to me like going out and just taking whatever someone offers me. So that's what my course shows you how to do. Get your blog set up properly so that you can start making money. And then all my strategies that I use when it comes to making money with sponsored posts. So I'll share the link to that here and go ahead and check it out. Boom, there it is. Oh, since I'm down here, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some of your other comments. Aw, you said, I feel like someone should give you a tip somehow or donation. You being here and just participating in the content is great, just for me. And you also said, I have Yoast, but I don't know how effective it is. It's effective enough as long as you're paying attention to. So I love SEO. I use RankIQ to do my keyword research. I mentioned that. I use SEMrush, and I use their plugin to make sure that I'm including all the right keywords in my content. And then I also use Yoast on my site as well to make sure that I'm hitting all the things that Yoast tells me to do. So I have that little green smiley face across the board. And it's important. They all look at different things. So I don't think Yoast is like the end all be all SEO tool, but it has its benefits for sure. I also use Yoast to add in my Google Analytics code and other things, because it's one of those plugins that it's just sturdy, it's there, and everyone uses it. Everyone uses it for a reason, because it works. All right, so cool. I'm going back to the top to see what comments I missed. We talked about Google Search Console. We talked about Pinterest courses. When it comes to blog articles, so when it comes to blog articles, what is the word count recommendation? Do you follow the word count recommendation of RankIQ? This is a good question, because for a long period of time, I was under the impression that your article should be at least 1,000 words, every single article. And that was just guidance I learned from reading different blog posts and learning from other people who are out there in industry. But to be honest, like if I'm looking for an article that's just trying to show me how to make this recipe or how to solve this problem that I'm facing right now, I don't want a long article. I just want you to tell me what I need. So RankIQ kind of helped me get to that point where I'm like, oh, not every article needs to be 1,000 words. Some articles I write are only 700 words. And that's because of the type of article it is. I'm showing someone how to do something. And once you give them that value, there's no need to make this longer than it needs to be. So I think it depends. I don't think there's a specific word count recommendation, unless you're going for, you want a purely, hey, I'm going to teach very technical things that require a lot of words. I don't think you need to hit a minimum word count recommendation. I just go by what RankIQ tells me what to do. And sometimes I find that RankIQ would tell me this article needs to be 700 words, and then SEMrush would tell me that this article needs to be 1,500 words. I go with RankIQ just because I know that someone manually went through this. They looked at other articles to see what the range is for the word count, and I stick with that. But sometimes I go over what they recommend, but it's more so I can hit that grade of hitting the right number of getting enough of the keywords into the content. So good question. Good question. I think I answered your question. You asked about updating old articles with a few sentences. All right. All right, have I seen much success with RankIQ? Okay, here's the other one. Is it better to use RankIQ instead of Google Analytics to see how blog posts are performing? Use both. I use RankIQ and it's linked to Google Search Console, so all that information is being pulled in from there. And then I like to look at SEMrush as well to see how my content is doing. And SEMrush is pulling from Google Analytics and Google Search Console. So I don't think it's a matter of which one's better. I use them all, and they look at different things. So, and then the other thing I will say is like, what is considered better? Or I didn't even say, but yeah, is it better to use RankIQ? What are you looking for? If you're looking at, basic things like how much organic traffic am I getting to this article, then RankIQ is the place to go. But if you want to look at how are my events performing, like where are people coming from? Are they coming from social? Are they coming from organic search? Are they coming here directly? And then are there any trends? That's probably better for Google Analytics. I like to do like some long-term research on Google Analytics, like year over year at some things, or I'll look at, okay, this week compared to last week. What little changes have I noticed? So I think you can go a lot deeper with Google Analytics than you can for RankIQ. What I showed you on RankIQ is all that it is. You can't go into deeper reports or anything. That's only showing you your organic traffic. So I say use both. Let's see here. How did you get rid of the spam sites? Can you clarify what you mean by spam sites? Are you saying spam sites that are linking into your blog, or like the spam comments? Because they're both annoying. Let's see here. See more. Oh, I see your comment. You said I always have orange. I rarely get green smiles. I used to only get orange too because I didn't think it was that important for Yoast, but definitely make sure you're getting to the green. There's usually some big things you can do that make a big difference to get to green for Yoast. I think one of the big ones is making sure that you say your keyword in the first sentence of the article. So include that. That usually makes a big difference for me on if I go from yellow to green. The other is making sure you're not doing any keyword stuffing or not having the keyword in the article enough. And honestly, between those two things, I usually get to green. It's usually one of those two things. Or I don't have alt text in my images. That's important. So yeah, those are some of the big ones. But just read through what Yoast is telling you. They give really good advice. You said, I guess spam comments are both. The spam comments. I think there's a lot of plugins you can use to kind of help with the spam comments. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you turn on so that you have to approve comments instead of people just being able to comment. That will delay some people for sure, because their comment probably won't get through, and eventually they're going to just stop trying. So that's the first thing I would say to do. I think I'm trying to figure out what plugin I use. Just give me a second, I'm checking. I think the basic one that people use, okay, I use Anti-Spam B, and it's a free plugin, and it just helps with looking at spam, different spam comments that are coming in. It makes it easy for you to go in and look at them all and go, okay, this one's spam, this one's trash, this one I can make an edit to what they put, so I can get rid of this spam link or whatever. So yeah, Anti-Spam B is a good plugin to use, and just make sure that people just can't comment on your site unless you approve it. All right. So a stat on RankIQ said that bloggers who earn over $50,000 a year say their most popular posts are 24 words long on average. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. So I know that it's easy to get caught up in those numbers as far as, oh, this person has this many words on average, but that's on average, that doesn't mean every single article has to be 2,400 words to get there. I have I think the article that we have that has the most words is 6,000. We have a 6,000 word article on Blogging Money Life, and it was a pain to write, but it's there. It got a lot of traffic at one point. It's probably going to get a lot more traffic later on. It's not even in my top 10 articles right now. So I think there's this false equivalency thing as far as you get more words, then you're going to do better. What matters is providing value. So if let's say, for example, I asked a question, how do I get to the color purple? And one article is going to say you need to mix red with another color. And there's another article that says you need to mix red with blue. And there's another article that says, well, it depends on what kind of purple do you want. Do you want violet? Do you want indigo? Here are some other colors you need to include. There are 3 different articles that say this, and they're all showing up on Google, right? One's 1, 2, and 3, depending on what answer people are looking for the most. And what you want to do, if you're trying to come to the top of that, is you need to combine all that value that other people are creating into one article, so that they don't have to look at all those other articles to get the answer that they want. So that was a very long, convoluted way to explain that. But my point being is, what matters more is making sure that you are answering the question that people are trying to get answered, as opposed to hitting a number as far as how many words you need to have. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I ramble sometimes. Let's see here. Yeah, so RankIQ has a word recommendation, because what RankIQ is doing is, remember in my example where I said this article is answering this question, this article is answering this one. RankIQ is looking at those articles that are all providing the most value and seeing how many words each of those articles have, and then coming up with an average. So that's why it's giving you that number as far as what word count to hit. And then also, like, again, here's another example. If I'm looking for how to make ramen noodles, and all of the articles that come up on top have 200 word posts about how to make ramen noodles, just because I do a 2,000 word post about how to make ramen doesn't mean that my article is automatically going to shoot to the top. What matters is, am I providing more value than those articles that only have 200 words? I think, like, for previous, like, Google search algorithms, that was the case where more words mattered. But I don't think that's the case anymore, especially with some of the more sophisticated changes that Google has made to the search engine. So yeah, the whole point of RankIQ having that average, and again, I didn't put this together until I started getting more. I got some suggestions from RankIQ where, I only have a 500 word article. They say you only need 500 words for this particular article. And then I have some for, 6,000 words, is because it really does matter on what type of content that's being created. So yeah, let's see here. B. Anti-spam B is spelled anti-spam B as like a buzzing bee, so BEE. Yep. You said, yep, you're right. That's on average words. Yeah. This was a good conversation though, because I think when you're like just trying to figure things out and figure out how they work, you're just like, I want to do all the right things, and it's more nuanced than that, especially once you start getting into different niches. And there's some niches where they have to write long content every single time because it's more complex. And there's some niches where they only write short content because people just want quick answers for things. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Don't get caught up in the averages and the numbers and things like that. Make sure you're providing value. And that's what Google is looking for. Lois, how's it going? Lois says, how many articles a month should we post? However many articles you can do consistently. So if you know you can consistently do 1 article a week or 1 article every 2 weeks, then do that, because Google's looking at that consistency. Now, if you do more content, your blog will grow faster because you're getting more content. That's more eyes. That's more possible search traffic you can get. But you want to make sure that you're staying consistent. So that's what I would say. Yeah, if it's only one a month, it's 1 a month. It's just going to take longer for you to get to some of your blogging goals. But that is a good question. I agree. Okay, I think those are all the live questions, and those are some good ones. Man, I didn't get to like any of my other stuff so far, but this is good. This is what this is supposed to be for us to have a conversation and really talk more about blogging. If you guys have more questions, post them in the chat. I'm going to jump over to some of the questions we got in Bloggers Supporting Bloggers, and I'll jump back over here to answer you guys' questions after I do that. So one question we received in the weekly Q&A thread for Bloggers Supporting Bloggers, the first one is, how do you guys get your domain authority numbers so high? I feel like I follow all the things I can and I'm still not accomplishing that. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. And then someone else said they have the same question. And then another person said, please share a strategy that works. I've had a blog for around 11 years and I still have a domain authority of 15. Okay, so this is a really good question. For those of you who may not know, domain authority is a score, I think, that Moz gives you for your website. And where this comes in handy is when you're doing things like sponsored posts, and they ask what your domain authority is because they want to make sure that they're going to be able to grow their website from your domain authority. And the way domain authority works, and I can explain this so that it makes sense on how to grow it, but also why it matters. The way domain authority works, it counts kind of like a vote. So let's say that I have a website that has a domain authority of 100, and you have a website that has a domain authority of 15. And you say, Jasmine, I would really like it if you gave me a vote. So I write a blog post on my website that has a domain authority of 100 saying like, hey, this blog is awesome. Here's a link do follow, and you should go and check it out. Now, not only will you see some traffic, hopefully, to your website, but that should increase your domain authority because I just use my credibility to say, hey, Google, they're cool. And Google can raise it up a little bit for you. And the benefit there, like if you have a sponsor or someone who wants to partner with you for whatever reason, they get that share benefit for being mentioned on your website. Now, this is why it's important to increase your domain authority because it gives you credibility. And then also, if you want to work with other people when it comes to domain authority, this is how you do it. So if you want to grow your domain authority, one, you have to put like a good effort in to actually grow it. Some ways you can do that. You can partner with other bloggers who have a higher domain authority than you and write blog posts for them saying like, hey, can I please have a do follow link if I write a free article for your website? You have to know that they have a higher domain authority than you, though. You can't just do it for anyone. The best way to figure that out is if you use the Moz Chrome extension. It's free. And what this does is it tells you what the domain authority is for any website that you're on. For example, I'm using StreamYard right now to do this presentation, and Moz is telling me that their domain authority is 54. When I look at my blog for Miss Mill, I believe our domain authority is 40. It's taking forever to come up for mine. And then I don't know what my domain authority is for Blogging Money Life, to be quite honest. Oh, all right. My domain authority for Miss Mill is 43. It just came up. It just took a second. And then, I don't know what it is for Blogging Money Life because it has had a lot of rapid change lately. And, oh, here it is. It's 14. It was 10 not that long ago. So, yeah, it's one of those things where you just make a good effort. So that's one way you can do it. You can partner with other bloggers. Another way you can grow your domain authority is you can work on one getting published on some bigger sites. The benefits are if you have like different .com, so a .com website, a .org, a .edu. So find organizations like that where you can publish content for guest posts or freelance writing, and see if they'll do a do follow link to your site, probably in the bio. That helps with your domain authority. And those are the big ones, I would say, when it comes to doing some backlink strategies. I know that some people do some like link exchanges or work with different agencies that would help you grow your domain authority. But I wouldn't go that route unless you're willing to spend a lot of money. But it's definitely some grassroots way to do it. Another platform you can use is Haro. And Haro stands for Help a Reporter Out. It's pretty much a bunch of reporters going in there and saying, hey, I'm looking for someone I can interview about this topic, or I'm looking for someone who has some expertise on this thing, so I can talk about them on this website. So that's another good way too for you to get some exposure for your domain authority and to grow it. Whew, I spent a lot of time on that question, but I had 3 different people ask about it. Okay, another question I have is, I'm very new to blogging and I need some help with basic understandings, like how to set up a landing page, website, and can I blog on more than one topic? Please help. So there's a lot of questions in this one. I'll start with how to set up a landing page. I personally like to use a landing page platform. I've done landing pages on my website using plugins, and it just gets messy and it's hard to track the data unless you know how to set that up properly in Google Analytics. So I use a platform called Lead Pages, which is awesome. You just go in there. They have all these different templates you can use to set up a landing page. You can set it up so that it has your URL for your blog, so you don't miss a beat as far as it looking similar to your site. And they have very specific pages that track the things you want to know. How much traffic is going there? How many people clicked on your links? How many people actually converted into whatever it is, whether it's purchasing something or signing up for your email list, whatever. So I use Lead Pages. Another platform I like to use if it comes to collecting email addresses, ConvertKit for my email platform. They have landing pages. So does MailerLite. There's another place you can create landing pages. I use templates. I use platforms, and it makes it so much easier than trying to create a landing page on your blog. If you are trying to create a landing page on your blog, there's a lot of WordPress themes you can use where they have a landing page template included in it. I use Restore 316 themes, and I usually have some type of landing page template with all their templates for the site. So that's what I would do when it comes to landing page. Wait, that's wrong question. Website, and can I blog on more than one topic? Okay. Yes, you can blog on more than one topic. Just understand what niche you're going to be in. And someone asked a different question, which I think is kind of related to this. They say, is a micro niche or full niche better for blogging success? So on the topic of niche, I feel like this is a topic that people talk about all the time, and there's just like so much mixed advice going on out there. One place will say finance is the best niche to be in. Another platform will be like, finance is the most competitive niche to be in. So I say pick a niche that you feel like either you're passionate about, or you can create a lot of content about, or you feel like it's very underserved. I think those are probably some of the best niches to go into. And then when it comes to a niche versus a micro niche, I think micro niches can be great, but you want to make sure that you have enough people who are actually going to be searching for whatever you're selling to make it worthwhile. So I think one big mistake that a lot of people make when they create a blog, and I made this mistake initially, is they go too broad. When I started my blog, Miss Millennium Magazine, it was definitely a lifestyle blog, but I was talking about everything from like finance to like beauty, things I did last week, which it has its benefits having a lifestyle blog and being able to go more broad. But what I found was it took me a long time before I started to see some of the benefits of having such a broad niche criteria. Whereas my blog for Blogging Money Life, I've only had it for a few years. We're pretty niche down. We're mostly travel and blogging topics. That's it. And between that, we've seen a lot of growth. I've had where I am with Blogging Money Life in 3 years is where I was with Miss Millennia in 8. I think a lot of that has to do with just knowing more now as far as blogging. And then also being in a niche where I'm like, this is all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about cat food and dog food or all these other things that I could possibly talk about and try to make it fit. But I feel like finding a niche and sticking to it is probably a faster route to hitting your blogging goals than it is going broad. A micro niche, I think it could be probably even more successful, so long as you have enough people in that category who are willing to buy whatever you're selling. So that's my feedback on those things. That's it. Those are my questions from the Bloggers Supporting Bloggers group. Are there any final questions before I hop off for today? I think this has been a very awesome session. Thanks so much for all the questions, you guys. I felt like we really got to go more in depth with a lot of these topics, which has been awesome. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks so much for coming in and asking a lot of those questions, specifically Eliza. Like, you did a good job. Oh, great question. Here's another one. Why do I need a landing page? Okay, so a point of a landing page is that you want to have a page that's focused so that you can get people to take action on something. So usually when you go to a website, for example, if you go to my blog homepage, I have a sidebar with things you can click on. I have this whole little section where you can click on different blog posts that recently were published. I have a category section at the top. You can click on my About Us page, all these other things. Like, there are like 1,000 call to actions on a typical website page. The difference between that and a landing page is there's one call to action. So you've ever been to a landing page, it's one of those things where you jump on it and people are like talking to you like, hey, you probably went through this experience before and it was horrible. Am I talking to you? Great. Here's the solution to that problem, blah, 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 blah. Here's the call to action that I want you to take. And that's the difference between a landing page and a home page. And a regular website page is just a distraction-free page to get people to do what you want them to do. This is typically important for if you want to get someone to sign up for your email list, or you want someone to buy your product, or you want someone to sign up for your social media channel, whatever it is. Like, that's the purpose of having a landing page. I have landing pages for all of my lead magnets to get people to sign up for my email list. If you go to my Blogging Money formula page, that is a landing page. Just shows like, hey, does it sound familiar? Here's the problem. Here's what my product gives you for a solution. And there's no other places for people to click so that they don't get distracted and go somewhere else. So that's the purpose of having a landing page. Yeah, if you're only looking to do a landing page for collecting email addresses, I don't recommend signing up for a platform like lead pages because you can get free landing page templates with your email marketing provider like MailerLite or ConvertKit, and they're decent. They're decent landing pages. So yeah, that's why you would need one. Good question. Thanks so much for everything. Thank you for all the great questions. I mentioned this in the beginning, but I do this every single month, the last Wednesday of the month. And I guess I will see you guys in May. Thanks for coming. Thanks for talking about blogging with me. And I'll see you next month. Bye, everyone.